Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another of the videos that make me happy. I was struggling a little bit with filming and what to film, what not to film, and today, with the idea of helping my friend not to buy a palette, I said, well, why don't we dupe the vibes? I'll show you what I have, and it's the same thing I would do with you guys. So I decided to also film this video and discuss with you a dupe the vibes or just duping the palette of Jeffree Star, the Cremated palette. Now this isn't really a color story for Alice. I love warmth, I love color, grays and gray tones are just really not my thing. Cool neutrals, not my thing. You can see it already with the eye look that I have. I feel so uncomfortable with this makeup. I don't think it suits me, but that's beyond the point. I thought it would be fun to recreate the Cremated palette. Now, the timing of this palette can be discussable. We can discuss it. Maybe not very tactful. However, I feel like Jeffree Star is Jeffree Star. He will always be controversial. Everything he does is controversial, and it was clearly not something he started planning when this crisis came out. I watched today Nikki Tutorial's review of the palette, and as she mentioned, and I agreed with everything she said, it doesn't matter when this came out, it would have anyways been very controversial, and this was planned for half April, the middle of April for launch, so that was even postponed by a month. So that said, for me, makeup is makeup, and would it have been called deceased? That is something he says all the time. I would have definitely also found it very funny and very Jeffree Star. That said, the palette again is not for me. I'm not even tempted to buy it because the color story doesn't really interest me. Plus, I think it's ridiculous to have that many shades of gray in a palette. And if you like grays, there are many different options, or cool neutrals. There are different options, and the one that or the two palettes that jump up to me immediately when I think of grays are the Smoke Sessions from Colourpop. I think it might have changed the name, but I'll pop the image here next to me. That one is 9 shades of smoke. Beautiful, all grays and different textures, silver. I think it looks really good. It's 9 shades, it's $12. Perfection, monochromatic, done right. Another palette that I can't stop raving about, I hope you guys are not bored of me talking about it, is the Nebula Cutie palette Platinum. This one right here is not monochromatic gray, but you can create very nice cool toned eyeshadow looks. I've showed you one in my review. There's an IGTV with this one on my channel, creating something that is a little bit more neutral, not completely grays and black. But anyways, these shades, especially these two, are cool toned with a silver glitter. This is pure molten silver, so you can create a lot with this palette. So if you're looking for something a little bit more measured and also cheaper, because Jeffree Star's palettes of that size are $58, I would suggest those two. Definitely better choices, I think, for the amount of, I don't know, grays that you need in your life. That is that. One reason maybe you would like to get the palette is the new textures, for example. And I know he mentioned, and Nikki also really loved these new sparkly shades. They were already in his purple palette, 1 or 2, and now in here there's more. And I think that's great that more mainstream brands are putting special shades. But again, going back to the Nebula, they have the new Super Sparkle finish, specifically this shade right here, but there's also one in the other, in the Metropolitan palette, for example, that is a glittery top coat, beautiful. They also have a base, they adhere very well to the eye. So I would say, again, it's beautiful that more mainstream brands are introducing special topper shades, but it's just a lot of gray. A lot of gray. There's a lot of similar shades, especially in the mattes. That said, and put out there, what I did was actually go to my makeup collection, single eyeshadows, and look at what shades both dupe the palette, but also the vibes, and maybe something that I would add myself. And this is what I came up with. These are 22 eyeshadows in this palette, and I actually ordered them a little bit like Jeffree did, from the darkest to the lightest instead of the other way around. But I divided them more also in undertones. So here I have my cooler grays, let's say, my lighter grays, midtones, and more cool tone neutrals, and up here like my dark, more matte shades. And to be honest, I wasn't expecting to love this as much as I do. Like, it's aesthetically pleasing, that's what I'm gonna say. And this is usually the palette where I keep all of my cool tone shades. So there's a few hanging around that I added in here. But this is pretty much it. The one thing I'm gonna say, which I'm a little bit sorry about, is that many of these are Makeup Geek old round pans. I tried to take out the ones that have equivalents in the new square pans, and actually you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4. They're one whole row of the neutral Makeup Geek matrix palette, because they're all actually way more grayish cool tones than you can see in the pan, and they fit this palette perfectly. Then I added a black. This is Pitch Black from Nebula. I wanted a buildable black. I didn't want Corrupt by Makeup Geek or like a very, very black. I wanted something buildable, because with smoky eye especially, a buildable shade is much easier to use. And the other Nebula shade right here is Chiaroscuro. So I'm gonna go through these shades with you, and I have done the swatches separately on my arm this morning, because these are quite difficult to build up, so you won't really see very well if I show them on my arm, but I'm gonna swatch for example all the shimmers right here. The last thing is this makeup look I filmed, and it will be up on my IGTV the day after this video goes up, so depending when you see it, it's either already there or it's coming. And I thought it would be nice, after I did my IGTV with the Platinum palette, to also, yeah, I don't know, put more makeup tutorials, let's say, there. It's a little bit, they're shorter, they're fun. I don't put them at the end of these videos, and I don't feel like doing a full tutorial as a standalone YouTube video, because that never does well, and I'm not a makeup artist. It's not like you're gonna learn that much from me, but I think it's nice to do makeup with someone else. So that is why you're gonna find this makeup look that I'm wearing right now using this palette in my IGTV on Instagram. But let's get started with this dupe palette. As I mentioned, a black, not too pigmented, buildable, matte, velvet matte finish from Nebula. Gorgeous, fantastic. Used it to smoke out the look today. Then two dark, cool toned browns. This one right here from Makeup Geek is Smoke Signal. It is a more like a very deep gray, nice to work with, easy to work with, blends well. And next to it there is Take for Granite, and that is more, as you can see it also in the pan, is a little bit, I just touched my lip gloss, it is a little bit more brown in there, but still cool toned. And next to that I wanted to put Chiaroscuro by Nebula Cosmetics, which I always thought was a very dark gray. But it's, as you can see it compared to other grays, it's actually quite a neutral gray. It's, I find very easy to wear for what grays are. It's not unflattering because it has a touch of brown in there. And again, the velvet matte finish works really, really well. Then we have the first shimmer in the palette, and that is the shade Tinseltown by Makeup Geek. And it's not a particularly fancy formula, but it's a nice, sheeny, not too metallic, satiny, dark shade that I think will look very elegant with a dark cool tone smoky eye. Sometimes better than more in your face glittery looks. Then we move on to another matte, and this you'd say is very similar to this guy. This is Grunge from Makeup Geek. I find it to actually have a little bit of a different tone from the other one. And in the spirit of the palette of Jeffree Star, which has a ton of the same shades, I thought actually let's vary a little bit on the tone, and you can, I think, see it from the palette that it's a little bit different. And at the end of this video, I'll put the swatches on so you can also look at them. Then we have two Anastasia Beverly Hills singles. This one right here is, I never remember the name, Dark Chocolate Shimmer. And then we have Truffle Glitter. And these are two a little bit more special eyeshadows formula-wise. The Dark Chocolate Shimmer is a very dark brown base with a gold shimmer in it. I hope you can see the gold shimmer in it. And this kind of captures the shade in the palette that he has that is a black shimmery glittery shade. I don't have such a shade because I never use it. If I need a black smoky eye with some glitter on top, I'll do Pitch Black by Nebula and then put Water Drain by Nebula on top, which is also just a topper or just a glitter. I don't know. I would not use a black shimmery glittery shade. And the next up is Truffle Glitter, which is also what I have on my lid right now, which is a metallic base with some beautiful shimmer in it, and you can see that's so shiny, so beautiful. It's so much more in person than it shows up on camera, unfortunately. I've been also struggling to take good pictures of this makeup because of that. But I'm very happy with these. In my latest declutter, I said, yeah, Anastasia Beverly Hills shadows, they're great. They're definitely not worth $12 each or 12 euros each that they are, but I purchased them with a deal, and especially the shimmers I've been keeping, whereas the matte I've been decluttering. And these two are definitely two great eyeshadows from her line. I really like them. Next up, we have three medium mattes that I actually want to swatch because they really show the difference in gray that you can have. And these are Clean Slate by Makeup Geek in the new formula. And it's a nice, like, more neutral gray. Then we have Concrete Jungle. Let me do it this way. Which is, I think, more like even more of a traditional gray. And then we have Stealth, which is a blue base gray, and you can see the difference, and you can see actually how much different tones you can have in gray. I don't think I need to wear it, like especially these blue toned grays. I don't think I've ever worn, like, I've bought these because I'm a completionist and I wanted all of the Makeup Geek eyeshadows before they rebranded. That was a long collection time and everything, but I don't think I've ever worn them. And it's the only grays of this type that I have, and I'm happy to have them because then I can sometimes create something different. Then in the same vibe, two shimmery grays are Graphite right here, which is, I think it's a very traditional gray that is not a silver. And then Sorcery, which is instead more a deeper and a little bit more blue toned, let's say. It's Stealth, I find, is a beautiful, beautiful shade. And yeah, I think it would be worth a look by itself, but mainly because it leans so blue. So I would even pair it with some blues, maybe. I don't know. Then we go back to the neutrals, and here we have Bedrock by Makeup Geek. I think this is a great cool toned transition, similar to Brownie Points or Faux Fur from the old round pans. Again, I have a full comparison of the old and the new shades on my blog as well as on my YouTube channel, so you can check those out if you're curious, or if you want to see if you have a similar shade already from the old Makeup Geek shades. Then one of my favorite Makeup Geek shades ever, which I really hope they're gonna add to their new square pan rebranded eyeshadows, which is Mesmerized. And this is not per se a cool tone brown or a gray, but it's more of a, I don't know, it's more of a mauve purpley tone. I love it. And I think any cool tone palette for me will have one of these shades. I really, really like it. Then we have two more shimmer, more traditional shimmers from that point of view, which are, I'm swatching them myself because this one up here is Prom Night, and then we have Moondust. And you can see Moondust is a little bit more neutral. Prom Night is a little bit still on the silvery, more mauve tone, let's say. Those ones right here bring us to the end of the third row. So I actually went this way now. But just because I feel like swatching these four together is quite important. And then we can look at the really light ones. Now, here I wanted a matte white. This is Inglot number 373. And this is one of my latest pressing experiments. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen it, but I've been pressing my matte Inglot shades into round pans. Only half of them, half of the product in a square pan of Inglot fits in this round pan. And I'm following the dry method of Faces by Gina, if you want to check out her IGTVs showing how to do it. Then I wanted a shimmery white, which is what I'm wearing in my inner corner today. And this one you can really sheer out. This is Stardust by Makeup Geek. Also one of the old ones, my apologies. And here they are next to each other, a matte white and a shimmery white. Then we move on to the silvers, and I have a like silver mirror silver, which is on a Whimsy by Colourpop. And hello, can we look at this please? It's incredible. This is similar also to the one that is in the Cutie Platinum by Nebula Cosmetics, for example. And then something that is a little bit of a different shade of silver is High Wire by Makeup Geek. And you can see that it has a slightly more, I don't know, almost a lavender tint undertone, a little bit more of a gray base, let's put it that way. And I think that it's different. You have moments in which you want to choose one over the other, and these both have amazing foiled formulas. You can see them. I mean, they reflect from space. Finally, I wanted a more neutral transition, very light one, and I picked Sand Dollar by Makeup Geek. I don't know if this was like, you will see it at all. Yeah, actually, especially compared to the white on top, you can see how this is a little bit more of a neutral transition. And the Jeffree Star palette has a whole row of light tones in which there's many different matte light transitions, or like, yeah, transition shades or highlight, brow bone highlight shades, and some shimmers in there as well. I find that a whole row of them with different undertones of like sandy, more yellow, more gray, less gray. They're light shades. You don't really need so many. So I am very happy with the bottom row that I picked. And I don't know, I think it looks very cool right here. I like it. And overall, I'm happy with my dupe palette. I think it looks good. I think it can create some nice eye looks. Of course, I could have used with a few more special shades. So actually what I want to do now is add to this makeup look the shade Gemstone from Nebula Cosmetics, because this is a gorgeous, like gray toned glitter, and it gives such a beautiful, maybe fingers actually would be better. It gives like such a beautiful sheen. Can you see the difference? I hope so. I can in person, and I don't have singles with that capability yet, I want to say, but I'm sure some of the indie brands will come out with something like this, because if they can press them in a palette, why can't they press them in a pan, right? But so that would have been pretty much the eye look and the shade that I'm missing, that I would have added here instead of some of the more traditional shimmers like these guys. But again, I'm now living for these glittery special shades, so on a daily basis, maybe that's only me and you prefer a traditional satin or shimmer shade. So that was my very long and winded duping the vibes of the Jeffree Star Cremated palette. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love doing these. I'm gonna hang on to this configuration for a while, I think. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you are planning on getting the palette or if you already did with the launch on the Jeffree Star websites. For curiosity, this lip gloss is Colourpop Fingers Crossed. Was a limited edition though, and I thought it was very fitting. It's a bit like a blue-brown type of shade, so I thought it was fitting for this makeup look. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!